Okay. Okay, according to Zoom, I'm live. Give me a moment while I pull us up over here on my phone, since my tablet has decided that nope, since my tablet has decided that I am, here we go, that it doesn't want to work anymore. And quite frankly, it's quite old. Let's see, what is it? It's at least 10 years old. But at any rate, I digress. Happy Sunday. I know it's been a while. And so there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to cover today. And part of this is holding myself to account, because between the last few days that have transpired, everything that yes, hold on a second, I'm live. Oh, thank you. I'm live, Albert.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. You didn't know, and nobody out there told you, so, and I didn't tell you.
I'm sorry.
That's made Albert, everybody. I don't know if there's even anybody out there yet, Albert, but thank you. That was very sweet of you. Okay, so over the last few days, I have really been asking for some answers, right? Because my behavior over the last 2 years it hasn't felt, I have felt so off and so not me, and here and not here, and all of this different kind of stuff. And I did keep getting to relax into myself. And this is not a complaint on any sort of way, but I've also noticed that specifically when it comes to my own physical vessel, I've gotten myself addicted to sugar, and haven't been caring for my physicality in the way that would be the best for it, right? So over the last week, really, I've been asking to be shown what am I missing? What am I doing? Well, because I knew that I've shared on this channel before that my journey has been through health, right? And there's a lot of damage that's been done to this body, right? I have damaged the shit out of this body, over 20 surgeries and life-threatening situations, right? And so I know probably better than anyone on the planet what I should be doing for myself, right? And I haven't been. And I've been asking myself, what's that about? Do I have a destructive thing? What am I trying to leave the planet? What is that about, Sheila? What are you doing over here? Um, and over the last well, 2 days in specific, but it's been a little bit longer than that, actually. I started to suspect that this might be so when we had a conversation with Crystal, Lisa and I did, off camera, and it was in regards to, our collaborative effort, newlightstreaming.love, and how, again, I haven't been present. I've been present here, I've been present there, I've been present anywhere. And I started to suspect that I was running from myself. Well, I've got that answer. I have been running from myself. And I was shown specifically today a couple of things. Yes, between yesterday and today, um, Lisa and I gathered with a friend of ours, Elena, uh, the gal who runs our local Wise Women's Circle, and we got together and had a painting session. And she had this idea that we could each pull a card from her tarot decks that she had, and see if that would inspire us as to what to paint, right? Well, because I've been on this quest of asking to be shown, uh, what am I doing? What is happening here? I'm going to share with you um, what I discovered, okay, which is really kind of interesting because, like I said, okay, here it is. I got to share my screen. Wanted to get it pulled up here so that I could share it with you because it was pretty, to me, it's pretty profound that it show itself in this particular way. Bear with me. Here we go. Because I want to read it to you. It's actually when I was compelled to read it to Crystal last night, she said, "Oh, there was something in it for her as well." So this is the card I pulled, Warrior Woman. Now, partly too, there is an element of me, an occurrence of me, an etheric occurrence of me that uses an obsidian sword, and I have felt myself stand in exactly the stance that you see her standing in. Oh, the only difference is that I'm holding an obsidian sword in that realm, instance, whatever, right? Have you answered your deepest calling? Well, I knew the minute I read that the answer is no. You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul led life is not all fluffy, sorry, and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often, our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts. And the more resistance we have toward answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I'm not afraid. I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it is not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage, and courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. If you look at your fears in this light, then as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. So that came out for me yesterday, and I bawled as I shared that with the ladies, right? This morning. Now, I just released this video, so if you are so inclined to go and take a look at it, I was recording the final 3 sessions of Handbook for the New Paradigm that I just released. Hi, Cece, and welcome. I'm so glad you were able to make it today. And in session number 50, something very important was revealed to me, and I could not unsee the fact that it came immediately following that card yesterday as another way of answering what it is I'm doing, what it is I've been doing. Okay. And I had a feeling there was a part of me knew I was running from myself. again. And I wanted to feel like it was divine timing, and maybe to some degree it is, and I'm just being hard on myself, but I knew I had a feeling I might be running. So I'm going to read this. This is an excerpt from number 50. Divine intelligence encompasses the benevolent galactic brothers, sisters, and androgynous beings that have evolved beyond your level. It is true that there are those who live in harmony within the quote God energies that promote evolvement at all levels of potentiality expressing itself. And when we think of creation and as light workers or people who are here to help usher in the new earth and the light, right? We've already formed an opinion about the dark. And I'm very keen to recognize here that creation expressing itself has all of that encompassed within it, right? And so um, I'm going to read that again. It is true that there are those who live in harmony within the God energies that promote evolvement at all levels of potentiality expressing itself. That is what creation is, potentiality expressing itself and experiencing that expression and living it into wisdom. This is the composite of all accumulated wisdom, knowing itself and continuing its expansive experience. All awareness is a part of that magnificent pool of intelligence. It is also true that through free will, there are those that are experiencing in disharmony with expansive intent. So who are we or I or anybody to say that what they're doing is wrong? Because I don't know enough to make that judgment, even on myself, to be honest with you. It is important to understand that self-awareness can purposefully destroy itself by continuing its negative experience to the point of destruction. Because the negative focus lessens or literally pinches off the focusing energies of the soul. And that I even marked that. I stopped and marked that right then when I was recording that because I knew this is exactly what the little ego me has been doing. However, destruction by this method of weakening the connection to the soul is very difficult to do. Well, thank goodness for that, right? Awareness can, quote, muck around in negative experiences for the learning that can be gained and then return to harmonious experience. Well, that's what this is my returning to harmonious experience, or at least that's me beginning to see that that's what I was doing. At any rate, I wanted to share that because it felt important. I had a conversation with Crystal last night, and she used the words crossroads, and she was talking about herself, but I felt them to be for mankind in general, for the entire planet, actually. Crossroads. That is kind of where it's at. It's rubber meets the road time, at least for me, and maybe that's why it stood out to me so much from what she said about crossroads. Because in truth, no matter how one holds what is going on the planet, at the at the very most foundational level, I see the question is, who's in charge of you? Is it you? Or is it this over here that you're going to believe has all the right answers, no matter what it is, man, no matter what it is, or how you arrived at that opinion? I personally, all of my opinions and thoughts are up for review. Why do I think and feel that way? What's all that about, right? I am going to pull a card before I leave because somebody over here is yelling at me. I knew the fairies wanted to come out. Has been brought very clear to me that this is still a very useful tool for me, is what I was doing here. And I was doing it here. For me, I've always been very clear about that. It's oh, okay. That was a whole half a deck. So that's not, I'm sure that's not everybody. We just want one card, please. One card. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. Well, we got two. I said one, but we got two, and I could see why. The Dark Lady. I always feel Lilith energy with this, okay? And Lilith gets a bad rap, in my opinion, partly because I carry Lilith energy. Lilith, the Morrigan, those are all the same energetic vibe to me. The dark feminine. I don't know what to say about that. It's card number 20. And Fairies of the Future also came out right behind it. So that's kind of interesting to me. Boy, doesn't that sound like Crossroads. Wow, I think that is the theme. She was so smack on with that. And so because of that, I think I'm gonna also we're gonna do one of her cards as well. This is the Journey into It light language activation card deck that I don't know. I'm only one of two readers that has this, I believe. That would be myself and Journey into It, Crystal Hemphill. Okay, so card number 45, numerologically, that's a 9. I was compelled to start with that first, and I don't know why. So we're just gonna oh yes, I do. Okay. Purification process. Oh wow, that is so interesting to me. Before these other cards come out, this one wanted to come out. Okay. So this is the purification process. Boy, I hope that focus good enough there so you can have a look at it while I'm reading there. Parts of you are ready to be purified. There are some things you are holding on to. Well, yes. And that's so funny because I am getting ready to start a cleanse and it's going to include a parasite cleanse. And so I'm still communicating with myself and I've missed this. So I will be doing this again. So there are things you are holding on to, even when you think you have released them out of the blue, they can come rushing to the surface. You can flow in that wave of emotion or get lost and try to fight against it. This encoded art allows you to assist in the purification process that your soul needs. You are being asked to flow in the rivers of feeling just as you are. No expectations, no bounds of where you might flow to. Activating adaptability and flexibility. This is a beautiful process of expansion, and the aftermath is tranquility. Activating a soothing energy around you to assist in this process. You will be pleased with the purification process as it positions you perfectly for promoting a fresh start. I personally am gonna sit and meditate with this and feel free. I'm gonna see if I can get it to focus in really good. Feel free to pause that so you can allow that light language to speak to you. Wow. I love that that came forward right now because of everything that I've been questioning and what I'm preparing to do. Wow. You know, at some point, I suppose these things will cease to be amazing to me. Um, and it just will go to show the truth of who we are is so much more than we've allowed ourselves to believe. Okay, so the Dark Lady wants to be first here because she did come out first. Um, card number 20, unconscious power and wisdom, rituals, mystery, secrets. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot coming forward for me about this in terms of rituals. Anyone that's followed me for a while knows how I feel about rituals. Um, they're important. We get That's how we get our programming. If you don't think that brushing your teeth every morning and every night is not a ritual, okay, but it is, and that is what part and parcel programming is adopting habits that become rituals. It depends on what you do with them. Ritual has a whole lot of connotations to it. Oh, hey. Okay, my sister just joined too. She's going to go back and start from the beginning. But at any rate, uh, rituals are important, but they're also, for me, they're important that it be that I create it because any ritual being done by me, especially with the idea of thought thinking within itself, only I can be certain of what was meant by what was said, what I wish for it to accomplish. If somebody else created it, I don't know what they mean. And goodness gracious knows on the world stage right now, seems like everybody's using words that not everybody's got the same meaning for. You know what I mean? So it's because things are created with intention, it just has always felt best to me to create my own. And I have been a big advocate for everyone to do that for themselves. Yes, look at what everybody else is doing and say, "Oh, I like that. I know what I mean when I say that. I like that over there. I know I'll use that too because I really like how that makes me feel. Oh, I don't like that over there. That makes me feel all kind of icky inside." So by doing it that way, it's of your own creation, right? And so very interesting that that's coming up within this. The Dark Lady is the high priestess of the mysteries. She understands how to surrender to divine power, to unity. She has the profound intuitive knowledge that it is only to be found by looking deeply into our own beings and natures. Wow. We find her through meditation, in sleep, and within inner peace, ecstasy, and total despair. I am writing this at the time of the dark moon, which is her time. She is the guardian of beings unborn, of unconscious ideas, and of seeds sprouting in the dark, cold earth, tender and fragile, and as yet unready to face the bright sun and the winds of spring. She holds the embryonic hopes we have not yet realized we have. Hmm. All potentiality, perhaps. Very interesting that that's been really surrounding me of late. The Dark Lady is the mistress of spiritual ritual. The purpose of ritual is not the power it allegedly has over gods or spirits or fairies, which is why it's important that you be the one to create it for yourself. But the very real power it may have over us, putting us into a state of consciousness where we may better connect to our own magic and to other world beings. The Dark Lady understands that ritual is something we surrender to and we allow to enfold us rather than something we do or control. If you are one of those beings who has a habit of saying bless you when somebody sneezes, I ask you if you are aware of why you do that. And are you aware of it every single time you do that? Or is it habit? Because for me, I discovered it was a programmed habit. And that goes to this right here. To me, when we have been through a living cycle, birth and growth with the maiden, nurturing and fulfillment with the bright mother, releasing and letting go with the lady of the harvest, it is the dark lady who passes with us through the night of endings and death, whether of the body or of the soul, or simply of something passing through our lives. It is she who holds and guides us as we reconceive ourselves and prepare to be born anew. In this simple, in as simple an act as breathing, we see all four of them, inhaling with the maiden, the moment of fullness with the bright mother, exhaling with the dark lady, with the lady of the harvest, and the moment of empty waiting stillness with the dark lady. She is there in our very last moments of deepest grief, helping us to move forward to the stillness and peace of the place beyond grief. Our sorrows are transformed within her. She teaches us surrender, walking with us through the valley of the deep, darkest shadow. I wanted to say deepest shadow, so that's kind of interesting too. She is there as we experience the ecstasy of release. Then she guides us back to this reality renewed and illuminated. From her come those spiritual awakenings that seem to blossom within us out of nowhere. When we travel through the darkness, inner or outer, we learn the strengths of the Dark Lady. There's something very interesting happening for me about that too. Again, I always feel the Lilith energy, and with my dark moon, my Lilith being in Leo, which is fear of change, the only constant in the universe. What the hell? How did I manage that, man? That's a lot to move through. Let me just say. I guess that's why the other card about courage, right? Got to suck it up, buttercup, and go along no matter what. Got to find that courage to face those fears. Okay, so Fairies of the Future, card number 33, which, by the way, is in my numerology makeup somewhere, I've been told. Now, I can't remember where or from what. It might have something to do with that herald business. There was a numerologist that called me a herald once. It was a long time ago. So I don't know. We'll see. So, Fairies of the Future, card number 33. Be here now is what it says under the specific words. Moving forward. So wow, that does feel like an ending of, well, obviously there's an ending of me allowing myself to continue to run. Okay, so yeah, there's also that. If I don't stop running, there'll be an ending for certain, right? I do get that loud and clear. The gnome of now at the top of the card looks both ways simultaneously, something that would give a human a crick in the brain if he tried it. However, the gnome has no particular problem with this, as fairies always have a sliding sense of past, present, and future. Anna, in the center, steps boldly forth, pregnant with possibilities and carrying the hazelnut that grants wisdom. Puggy, above her, crouches ready to take off and rush ahead just as soon as she is sure what direction they are going, while the frog above her waits, hoping to be kissed, just to see what will happen. Amalthea on the left hesitates momentarily, not sure she is dressed properly or has her hair done right for the occasion. Nearly everyone looks to the future with cheerful optimism. For all of Anna's bold stepping forward, if you look closely, you can see that she has her eyes on the wise gnome king at the lower left. He seems sure of the way to go. He is relying on his gut sense to guide him, knowing that this is his magic and it will serve him better than logic in the unknown future. Being a gnome, a son of earth, he is well grounded in reality, which is what it takes to have trustworthy gut feelings. Anna, being wise, or at least very nearly so, trusts him in this. Of course, she hasn't considered that where he wants to go may not be where she would most like to be. Fortunately, he has considered that and is pointing her in the right direction. The pleasingly plump gnome lady, admiring the gnome king from her mushroom, hopes to be invited on the journey, though she would do better to invite herself, like all the others, instead of waiting. Oh, well, there's something important in that, isn't it? Yep. Don't sit on the sidelines waiting to be asked to dance. By golly, get out there and just go for it. The old oak man in the lower right is firmly rooted in the present and has no desire to travel in space. His journey is through time only. As he contemplates the wisdom of stillness and deep roots, he is contented, serene, and wise because this life suits him, and he has learned to make the best of what he has. He is happy to watch over the other fairies pass. He is happy to watch the other fairies pass by. It suits him, but this is not a way most fairies and humans usually choose to live. Both humans and fairies are constantly adventuring into the future, being carried there by old Father Time and Earth Mother acting hand in hand. Even the galaxies spin into the future, creating strange effects and relationships between time and space and light. He who hesitates doesn't get lost. He gets dragged along. Uh, he gets dragged along willy-nilly, bumping bruisingly behind the rest. You might as well get up and hustle along too. It's ever so much nicer way to travel. That's a direct message to me, okay, as well, I feel like. These fairies are on an exciting journey to co-create the future with the universe just as we are. They greet each rising dawn and each rising moon with unconditional and expectant gratitude. Join them. Brian, who is the artist of these cards, writes, "These are the fairies of a bright future and are essentially companions on any journey. When these fairies appear, it is time to consider where we have been and where we wish to go. There are crossroads." Oh my God. If Journey Intuit is not sitting out there right now, I hope she picks this up and feels my energy and comes joins, because oh my God, I feel that all over this. Crossroads, that's right. When these fairies appear, it is time to consider where we have been and where we wish to go. There are many opportunities, many potentials, but we must choose a path and then take realistic, practical steps to bring the desired future into being. And that's what I haven't been doing. That's where I really have fallen down for myself, right? Is not taking practical steps, perhaps. Well, partially because I'm not sure what steps to take. Okay, so coming back and doing this is one of those steps. I do know that. So um there are many opportunities, many potentials, but we must choose a path and then take realistic, practical steps to bring the desired future into being. This is not a time to wait for things to come to us, but to step forward boldly to meet them. We may do this alone if we wish, or in the company of those who share our goals and dreams. Well, okay, so that's very interesting too. Right before I was nudged uh, to come and do this, after no, it was right before I recorded the last 3 episodes of the Handbook for the New Paradigm. I saw a reading that I was nudged to take a listen to, and it's echoed in this right here quite a bit. And the fact that right now, the energies of this coming week, for me in particular, Libras in particular, astrologically speaking, are very favorable for stepping forward and doing just what this card talks about. So isn't that interesting? Well, that's it for this one, you guys. I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you were drawn here, there's a reason, I'm sure. Um, One of the things that I know for a fact that I've been shown is that, and I've said it many times, that coming here and doing this has never been for you. Anyone that follows this channel, it's never been for you. It's been for my benefit, and I've stayed away because I've been running from myself. You see, I made a commitment to myself approximately a year ago that I wouldn't lie to myself. But if you don't do anything and you don't say anything, you're not lying. You're just running. And I see that now very clearly. So that's what this is about, me coming back and holding myself to accountability for, taking responsibility for myself and letting the universe know I see that I'm on the road to correcting that. And there must be something here for you. Otherwise, I don't think you'd be drawn. Um, until we meet again, I hope that you will. I got a feeling if you're not in your own crossroads, you know some people who are if you were brought here. And I do feel like there's some really big crossroads coming up for the whole of humanity. And it's sort of poop or get off the pot time in some respects. But so until we meet again, I hope you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment, even if it scares the ever living crap out of you, which, is where I'm at the moment, apparently. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.